"I didn't do it, Mom. It was JD." That was my quote as a child, and I used it every single day. Because my brother was very well known for being pretty mischievous. And I found an escape in that because I was not. So whenever I would do something wrong, I would blame it on my brother. But growing up, I began to realize that this is not necessarily the smartest idea. Growing up, I began to learn. I began to grow as any child should. Looking back on these experiences, I realized that I did do some wrong. But JD did too. But my mom found out who was always the one who was doing it right and who was doing it wrong. She knew how to find out, and she knew how to teach us correctly. When looking at the quote, "Those who do not remember the past are condemned to repeat it," we can see growth. We can truly see what it means to understand where we can be and where we are today. We will look at growth, and we will look at developments in today's society and in our own lives by first going into our government, what it was and what it is today. Then we will look into involvement and my own personal experiences with what I had to go through with growth. And finally, we will look at religion, where religion has been and where it is going in the future. When we look at our government, we may think, wow, that's really messed up. And it is. There's a lot of things that are really wrong with our government, but there are a lot of things that have grown and have gotten better over time. When looking at our government, we can see many problems, but they were not exactly how they were in the past. When looking at the past, we can see that there was a Puritan Parliament. There was this time where the Puritans came over to America, and they were not exactly the way that we are today. Their beliefs stemmed on witchcraft and pretty much insanity. Looking back on this experience, we realized that as a government, as a population, we learned that not everybody's a witch. And that's what growth is. Taking an experience that we have had in our past and growing from it. Realizing that we made a mistake and that the world can be different. Now, the government obviously has changed since then, and we've had a lot of developments as a country. A lot of different things have happened and have gone right and wrong. But we're not being hung for being witches today. And that's what's truly amazing. That a government can realize a mistake, that a population can realize a mistake and grow from it. That quote truly shows what it means to realize a mistake, what it means to not relive your past, but yet to move on. A lot of times I don't want to relive my past. I think a lot of times I make mistakes and it is showcased through my childhood. It was really showcased in my freshman year. When I came here to this high school, I was so excited and I wanted to do everything. And guess what I did? I did so much that I felt like it was not even safe. I found that I was in every organization I could possibly be in, and I could not focus on what I needed to. My grades began to slip and I began to not even know how to add or subtract. It was so hard because I was so spread thin. And I learned that I needed to focus on what was important. To be in high school, it is important to be involved. It is important to go into other organizations, but it's more important to get an education because that's what school's all about, learning. And I learned a lot my freshman year. I learned that it is okay to be involved, but it's much more important to learn from your experiences. I'm not involved with as many organizations as I was, and I can manage my time more wisely now that I'm student council president. I make everybody else do the work. But I realize that there is a lot that goes into being a leader, and even more that goes into being a student. When looking at religion, you can see that it is very holy. There are many instances where people believe in God, people believe in whatever higher power that there is. But there's also redemption. That's what's so amazing about religion. Many religions focus on redemption, viewing their past and correcting it for the future. There is a term of reconciliation in the Roman Catholic religion. It is a sacrament and a gift from God that people take to be forgiven for their mistakes, to look back on their past and realize that they can change it, to realize that where they are today is not just where they were, but where they're going to be. That's what religion focuses on. It focuses on the opportunities, the growth of the world, not what has been in the past. And that's why sins are forgiven. That's why there is the term of reconciliation. To be able to forgive what we have done and look for the future that we can achieve. Now, if we are looking at the world around us, we can see that in many instances, people make mistakes. Now, I do not make as many mistakes as my brother, but mistakes are going to be made. Whether that mistake has been made through the government, whether that mistake has been made through our own lives or whether that mistake is shown through religion. We can see that everyone is growing. The world around us will continue to grow. And that's what's amazing, that growth is looking back on the past. And when looking at this quote, those who do not remember the past are condemned to repeat it. We can see that we need to live for our future. We need to live for our present, not for our past. Whether that is through reconciliation or just realizing that you do have a bigger brother who is a bigger brother and needs to be respected. No, JD did not do it every time. I did. And that is my reconciliation.